I think they might blow up tonight.
Nah. After what you heard about his family
Oh yeah.
getting
I know,
hands
but
laid on.
that can be a detriment too.
I think it's going to be like, okay, y'all think I'm soft? You think that it come after Russ Wilson or not Russell Westbrook's folks like they did Chris Paul? Nah, because Russ Westbrook would have laid some hands right there. That's okay. We'll see. I'm excited.
Were you in fear for your mother-in-law and your and your, and your sister-in-law?
No,
Oh my God.
no.
I ain't mad at you. I don't like that kind of stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. I laugh and joke about a lot of things. I don't laugh and joke with that. That's not good. That's not ever good.
Yeah.
Travis, are we live yet? Did you put us live? Okay.
Oh. Let's see how long I'm staying on this call.
Stop it. Look, when the show comes on, we're gonna let you have the whole segment. You're just gonna be on there by yourself.
Nope. I'm gonna see. I guess my name's not on there, huh?
He hadn't changed it yet.
Travis.
It ain't Travis. It's Jason.
It's not me. Don't be atting me.
Tom, what's up?
What I look like staying on this call after I said I wouldn't?
Don't at me. I have no control over that.
I don't have any control over it either. And Jason just doesn't have any time. I mean, he's still ripping and running with track.
I saw him doing his little podcast on Batman. He found time for Batman.
That was a long time ago. That was a long time. Because Jason didn't be, I mean, you should have seen him do one on Doctor Strange.
That's what it was on. It was on yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he stays up with that stuff now. He said they're doing pretty good. They starting to make some moves over there. He got me on there one time. The other day had Irv on there. He need to get you on there, Miss Carey.
It's not important to me. What's important to me is that my name's not on this list.
Okay, we're gonna get it on there. I'm telling you that right now. I'm working on getting us some money. That's what I'm working on.
Okay, so I won't hang up.
Yep, I'm working. That's my big thing for this first half of the year, which is almost over.
He tried to get me on the video yesterday because I'm one of the few people that, thought the movie was just okay. So
I thought it was bad. I'll be honest with you.
Travis, why you sound like Sleepy Floyd? Is the baby keeping you up?
What do you think?
No, hell no, that baby too old to be keeping you up now.
It's time for a second child. That's the only way it's going to fix it.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Come on, Travis.
Run them damn credits.
There we go, Travis. Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay.
Fired up. Here we go, y'all.
I'm getting there.
Let's ride.
Eeyore.
I know.
Play the clock. Oh, you already know what it is, man. Ooh and J, they coming through. Straight no chaser. Straight from the hip.
Straight from the hip, don't need no script, just need a microphone. My man Coach Boo gon' take you to the entertainment zone. They got the stats, the this and that to keep this show on point. And when we're done, we have some fun and rock this funky joint. So if you will, sit back and chill, give us a chance to show ya. If one of y'all would like to call, we'll talk just like we know ya. We take control, then start the roll, and then there ain't no stopping. It's time to dip straight from the hip. Hey, yo, let's get it poppin'.
Hey, welcome to Straight from the Hip. I'm your host, Coach Gerald Boo Mitchell, coming to you live from, where, Black Mania, where Wakanda actually started up in Black Mania. That's a whole nother story. We're gonna have that in the event in the Marvel. What's wrong, Miss Carey? Miss Carey got that look on her face. Bless her heart. Miss Carey, he gonna get your name in there. I promise. There you go. There you go. That's our queen right there. There you go. I told you. See, I told Travis was gonna take care of you, Miss Carey. I knew Travis would take care of you. Travis gonna give you your own shot right there. Miss Carey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Appreciate it.
How's the Paul family?
Paul family's recovering. We're gonna come out strong tonight.
Okay, we're gonna see. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Travis, what's going on?
Hello. Doing good.
Man, look at you getting all kind of love. Tom Holcroft said, "You're important to me, Miss Carey." And
Thank you,
Matthew
Tom.
Cowlett said, "Miss Carey, why was your man Chris trying to fight a kid?"
What?
Trying to fight a kid. He
Oh.
said that person he went after was a little old kid the other night.
Hey, whatever it takes.
I hate when that kind of stuff happens. We'll talk about that stuff in a little bit. Let's talk about football first, though. We missed our draft show, so we won't talk about the draft that much, but we will talk about kind of winners and losers and who we think did well in the draft and who didn't do well in the draft. And since it's just past Mother's Day, we're going to let Miss Carey go first. I want you to know, Miss Carey, you are a real mother. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I am.
I've always said you're a mother. I tell Jason all the time, I say, that Miss Carey is a mother. You know what I'm saying?
A mother clucker.
A friend of mine used to call them duck pluckers. He said, I'm trying to quit cussing, so I call them duck pluckers. Anyway, go ahead, Miss Carey.
I am indeed a mother clucker.
There you go. Come on.
Are we talking winners and losers for the draft?
We are.
So really, I don't know how you rate winners and losers. Like those people like Kansas City who were only, who didn't have a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah.
Like they were winners because they were able to fill their gaps, right? For me, the winners were those people who had multiple picks in the first round, like the Jets and the Eagles. Like they just stockpiled people.
Yeah, but sometimes when you're a team like the Jets, even though you got multiple picks and you still make dumbass choices, I mean, it doesn't matter that you got multiple picks.
They made good choices, though. The Jets made good choices. I'm happy. I think I'm excited to see what Philly's going to do with what they got and AJ Brown, and to see what Hurts is going to do in this season. Like I'm excited. They're not my team, but I'm excited to see what they're going to do with what they have, with the capital that they gained during the draft.
Everybody's doing a lot of talk about Philly. I'm not so. Miss Carey, we lost you for a second.
That's because my daughter called, but I let her go.
Okay.
I'm excited to find out what the Falcons are going to do. How quickly we're going to get Mr. Ritter in. How quickly we'll get Mariota out. What Drake London's going to do. What our defense. I mean, I'm excited about. Okay, the Falcons, the Eagles were winners. I think the Jets were winners. I think the Chiefs were winners. I think the Bills were winners. Like they had holes to fill. They didn't have a far way to go, and they filled those holes. So the Ravens also winners.
You think the Falcons were winners? I'm stuck on the Falcons.
Well, we had a lot of holes.
Yeah,
and we got some.
And you still do.
And yes, we do, but we got quality players. So let's just wait. I know you are not a wait and see, but I will wait and see how much better we are this year than we were last year.
Well, that's the life of a Falcon fan right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait and see.
Improvement.
Yeah, wait and see how much better we are this year. Like you won 3 games last year. If we get 4 this year, it's an
improvement.
It's a stellar season.
It's an improvement. That's right.
You got better.
Ooh, I love me some Falcon fans, boy. I love me some Falcon fans. Travis, tell me your winners and losers.
Yeah, Ms. Carey, you said most of them that I had. Winners, I thought the Jets had a very good draft. It helped that they had 3 first-round picks, right? But, they did good. I hate to say it, but Baltimore had a very good, nice draft. I think they had 2 or 3 first-round picks. So I would say that those 2 are the top 2, teams. Losers, the Patriots, they took some guard that was rated like 100 in the first round.
Exactly.
But again, are we really going to question Bill Belichick?
Yeah, we are.
The things that he does.
Yeah.
So probably the Patriots, right off the top of my head, would be not really sure what they were doing.
Yeah, we ain't giving out no passes. No passes. So, yeah, I question what they did. And I really question the Falcons. I mean, especially when you had a chance to get some of these Georgia players. I mean, that linebacker, Nakobe Dean or whatever his name is. I mean, he was still on the board, and they didn't pick him.
Apparently, he had a major medical problem that just dropped him. Some teams completely dropped him, period, but he just plummeted in everyone's board because he had a medical issue that came out about a week before the draft.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about a couple people who plummeted, but my whole thing is that they still, you saw what he did at Georgia. I mean, and like I said, unless they, I didn't understand a couple of the things they did, to be honest with you, because at the end of the day, normal teams have a draft philosophy of you take the best player available, not just because you have a need right now for a guard and, Trevor Lawrence is still on the board. And he said, no, we're not getting Trevor. We're going to get a guard because we need a guard right now. No, you don't do that. You take the best player available and then you can deal him because somebody else wants Trevor Lawrence or somebody else is going to want Nakobe Dean. And so you say, hey, find out who wants him and say, hey, who wants him? Because we willing to do some talking right now. I mean, and then that way you can go out there and get that ragged ass guard that you need. And then you can also get another draft pick with him because, you dealt him because, he is right now the best player available. Right. And that's why Mel Kiper always puts that up there about best player available because, like I said, regardless of what you need on your team, you go ahead and get him and then try to deal him. And because there's all kind of deals going on. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Carey.
Well, what I read, Coach, was that the surplus of defense was different than the surplus of offense, and that if you took one of the top players in offense, there was a steep decline, right? There was a couple at the top, and then there was a steep decline as far as the next class of receivers.
Okay.
Whereas the defense, there was more of a status. Like there was some higher and some folks out there that were like out of this world crazy good. But then the next level wasn't that far off.
Right.
And so they felt like they could get deeper down in the draft. They felt like they can get some decent defense versus the offense if they had passed on offense.
I know. I just think if you again, because the fact that he's a Georgia kid and you get some of that homegrown, I mean, I think that has a lot to do with it too. So, I mean, I was looking at it for those purposes. Like, there was some talk that they might draft Tyler Goodson and that they might bring in Tyler Goodson because again, and part of that was all about the fact that Tyler, is from Gwinnett County. And so, like I said, that would have been, a lot of people obviously being excited about him being with the Falcons and things of that nature. So I just felt like that maybe even should have come into play a little bit more, in regards to their pick than just sitting back and, picking whoever it was they picked. I think they were trying to address their needs, obviously. One of these draft experts said that this is probably the best draft he's seen in a long time as far as people actually addressing their needs. Mm-hmm. He said probably the best draft, at least in the last 20 years, where just about every team, more teams than not, address their needs pretty much to the point of being perfect, of perfection. But nonetheless, like I said, I think that there were still some losers and some winners because, like I said, how well did the Patriots actually address their need? I mean, nobody's ever even heard this kid other than the Patriots recruiting office, whatever. And I mean, if he has any kind of an agent, he's gonna get the money. I mean, he's gonna get the money he's supposed to be getting. So when you draft in the first round, it's all about a scale. It's like, wait a minute, he was drafted at this point, and this guy drafted before him, and the guy drafted after him are making this, so he ought to be somewhere in between.
Yep.
So if they think they're gonna get him in there and be working for $500 a week, that ain't gonna happen. I don't know why they chose to pick that kid that they did, but I mean, more power to him. I guess, and I think Belichick might be pressing a little bit, trying to do things like this to try to show people how smart he is, and that he can operate without Brady, or whatever. I don't know. I have that feeling about him. If you ever watched that ESPN 30 for 30 about the two Bills, about Belichick and what's his old boss's name, Travis? Parcells, thank you. And dude, you could have cut that tension with a knife between them two dudes just sitting there having to look at each other and whatnot. Because, I mean, they kind of surprised them, and then they didn't know they were going to be doing – I don't know how they did. It was some kind of thing, but it was so much tension between the two of them. It was crazy. I mean, you could tell neither one of them wanted to be there. So anyway, that's how Belichick does. Matt Collett says the Falcons coach said the cost of a wide receiver in free agency is so crazy. They want a wide receiver under a rookie contract. Well, and that's true, but he doesn't have anybody to blame but himself. I mean, all of these NFL executives are the ones that go out and sign these damn Odell Beckham Juniors for $80 million, and now that's the new norm.
Yeah.
Now everybody wants to be Odell. They're like, well, Odell got 80, I should be getting 80.
Yep.
And so y'all ought to think about that before you do that kind of stuff. I mean, the quarterbacks now. I mean, you got to pay $20 million for a scrub.
Oh yeah.
I mean, scrubs out there making $20 million a year, and they're like, well, Deshaun Watson making 40. I mean, but I mean, it's y'all the ones that set that. I mean, between the coach and the damn executives on the team. So, and that's why I was saying, I said this a long time ago, and Jason kind of, Jason's always, wasn't the underdog one. I said, they're going to damn bring football to a halt. Y'all keep on escalating these things where, somebody making $100 million a year. I mean, dude, that's insane. And it just keeps climbing. It keeps climbing. It doesn't have a ceiling at all. And, like Deshaun Watson's deal. Everybody want to be Deshaun Watson. Now they talking about, what's the name? Ravens, Baltimore Ravens quarterback.
Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah, now he's up for that money. They're talking about, he going to get the Lamar Jackson deal now. He's next. He's the next. You crazy as hell. I mean, somebody just got to say what I just said. Man, y'all are crazy as hell. We are not paying anybody that much money. You just got to stop it. Just got to shut it down. So anyway, I think it's going to ruin football eventually because it's just too much money. And then you get some of these jokes out there, like a Kyrie doing in basketball. Like, I ain't playing this week. I ain't playing this month or whatever, but I still get that check. Man, it's bad business. It's bad business. And people don't like to be clowned when you mark yourself as being a good businessman, that you've amassed enough money that you can buy a professional football team, and now somebody's outsmarting you, dude. It's going to be some repercussions for that kind of stuff. I'm telling you now. So in any event, but I did think it was a good draft. But Baker Mayfield didn't go anywhere. Everybody thought Baker was going to be dealt or something might happen with him. But guys, I mean, apparently nobody really wants Baker.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you, Ray. Ray said I'm right. Ray Miller said I'm right.
Don't tell him that.
No, I already knew that, Ray. I appreciate you reinforcing that, but I already knew that. I mean, that. I mean, everybody knows that. But anyway, Travis, what's going to happen with Baker Mayfield?
I don't know. I thought he was going to get traded, released, something, right? The week of the draft. I fully expected him to be on a new team, now. Hasn't happened. At this point, there's no reason for a team to want to take him until at least the start of training camp. And usually you don't do trades during training camp unless you have an injury, because you probably already have all your guys.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. He probably going to have to wait till somebody gets injured.
That's probably what's going to have to happen.
But see, the Browns, though, they've got certain deadlines they've got to meet, or they got to pay him this money.
Yep.
So they might go ahead and just cut him outright, and just make him a free agent, and that way they won't have to pay him that money.
Yep.
Miss Carey, what do you think? What's going to happen with Baker?
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. They'll have to release him, and then Seattle will pick him up. That's my guess.
And old Pete Carroll kind of alluded to that a little bit the other day. If you ask me, when he was he was doing all that. Well, right now, we're, and when he's talking like that, it's like we trying to get him for free.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what he was saying without saying it. Like, we ain't in no big need to sign him right now anyway, but I'm not saying we're not interested, but we're just not interested in him right now.
Yeah.
Now, should he be out there, ready to play for some Cheerios, we might get him then. And that's probably what's going to wind up happening. He's going to be signing one of these 1 year, $5 million contracts, trying to show he can still do it. And, it'll be heavily incented, where if he takes them to the Super Bowl or he takes them to this or that or whatever, he'll get 10, 15 million, whatever.
Yep.
And it'll be one of those kind of things is what I believe going to eventually happen to him.
It's just hard for me to believe Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks are going to go from what they had to lock.
Oh, I agree. Oh, yeah.
I feel like they have Baker Mayfield up their sleeves, and at least he'll get them at least 7 to 8 wins.
Well, I mean, Seattle's got a pretty damn good receiving core. And so they better be trying to make sure they get somebody that can get them boys the ball. Because if not, they're gonna be trying to get on up out of there. I'm just gonna tell you that. So, that's
a terrible quarterback, and DK Metcalf's gonna be saying, "I want to go to Denver."
Yeah, or go somewhere. He gonna be asking for a trade. I agree with you.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's move right along. Deebo Samuel's also didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Miss Garrett, what's gonna happen with Deebo?
I forgot. Who did they say? Isn't his agent the same agent as AJ Brown? I think so.
I did not know that. Now I didn't know he had the same agent as AJ Brown.
I think he does. So I'm surprised that he didn't get picked up. I don't know. It's hard to believe that I don't think he plays for the 49ers. I don't know where he ends up, but really? I don't think he plays for the 49ers.
Travis, what do you think?
I think he will play for the 49ers. There was a report a week ago, right after the draft, that said, basically he's willing to work it out with the 49ers. And I think they'll figure out a way to come up with an amicable deal that they both like. I think he'll play for the 49ers.
The last report I heard was like Miss Carey heard. I heard that he said wasn't no way in the hell he was going to play for the 49ers. He wanted out. So I don't know what somebody did. Somebody done pissed in his Wheaties or whatever, because he is not a happy camper. And so I don't know how they're going to make it work based on what I was hearing.
Yeah.
And I was hearing this on Get Up or whatever, that he was like, nope, y'all can talk all this you want to. I want out. And so I don't know what they've done or whatever, but he is just not happy. And supposedly he wants out. So it's going to be interesting, Travis, because I heard them say that they were hell-bent on, keeping him there. And they were going to look for whatever solution they need to look to keep him there.
Yeah.
But conversely, I heard he was like, hell no. There ain't nothing they can do for me now. I want out.
And you talk about the likelihood of a quarterback getting hurt and bringing Baker Mayfield in. We're probably more likely that a receiver is going to get hurt.
Yeah. And
they're going to have to pull in Deebo. Somebody else will have to pull in Deebo.
Yeah, I mean, and Deebo is an anomaly. I mean, everybody should know that. If you watch football, you know that he's special. And he said all that stuff people are saying about. He said he wasn't going to play running back, and he said, "Oh, that's all lies." He said nobody said that. He said, I know that's been reported. It is untrue.
Yep.
And so, I mean, he said he didn't say it. So anyway, moving right along. Y'all hear the rumor today about the mayor of Dallas? Did you hear what the mayor of Dallas said, Miss Carey?
I didn't until I saw what you posted about 2 teams in Dallas.
He said if they can have 2 teams in LA and 2 teams in New York, Dallas is every bit the city that those places are, and you can have 2 teams in Dallas. What do you think about that, Miss Carey?
I don't know. Double D's. That does sound like Dallas.
I don't. I mean, the sad thing to me is that, and I've never been crazy about any place having 2 teams.
Yeah.
Where both teams carry the name New York something, like New York Giants and New York Jets. And, it used to be Los Angeles had 3 teams. At one time you had the Raiders, you had the damn Chargers, and the Rams. I mean, so you had 3 teams out in LA at one time. I mean, I don't like any of that, to be honest with you. But I can't wait to see what Jerry Jones has to say. Stephen A. Smith said that that mayor never be in office again after this term. They said they look for his replacement now.
Jerry Jones just drafted him.
Yeah, Jerry Jones having a fit because they said, even if Jerry Jones owned the second team, so he owned both teams, he probably still gonna lose money.
Yep.
Because just because Dallas Cowboys is like the #1 brand of a professional team in the world. And so now you're having to kind of have to share that, with somebody else, and it's gonna hurt you one way or another anyway. And so they were like, I don't know who that joker is, but he just committed political suicide. So I just thought that was kind of funny. It ain't a whole much to really talk about. Who knows? This ain't that much to talk about either. Tom Brady they announced today that when Tom Brady finally decides to hang him up, he's got a career waiting for him at Fox. So he's going to be one of the new broadcasters at Fox in the future. And I mean, I kind of figured he'd be doing it for somebody. I might be surprised it's Fox instead of ESPN. I would have thought maybe, the biggest dog out there would have jumped on him. But apparently not. Or maybe, he's not like he needs money. No. So he can go where he wants to go. And who knows? They told him they probably going to give him a magic pen for a telestrator. Matt Callett says $300 million is his contract.
Golly.
$300 million.
I thought it was 350.
Okay, I'm telling you what Matt just
put. I know.
Yeah, but anyway, 300, 350, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Because I mean,
you heard about the other part, right?
Is that for a year, Matt, or for a lifetime? I mean, what is $300 million for? I mean, how many years is that?
10 years, $375 million.
Okay.
What's the other part?
They're gonna have Gronk as the sideline reporter.
Oh my God!
I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm kidding with you.
Oh.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Only for Tom Brady games. Gronk is the sideline reporter.
Wow. He'll wind up doing something with Brady before it's all over.
Yep. I mean,
they're too close for friends. So he'll be around somewhere. You can bet your butt on that. So, Ms. Carey, what you think about that? What you think about Tom Brady and his new gig?
I mean, I was over Tom Brady before he came back to the NFL. So, like, to see him for 10 more years on Fox, I mean, I'm just kind of over him. I mean, there's always, it's like the yellow brick road for some people. And I'm just kind of over him.
Do you view him as being, though, a credible source? Like, when you're watching TV, like some of these guys, I don't even like the way they announce. Like, sometimes Chris Collinsworth says some things that kind of turn me. I'm like, wait a minute, that ain't right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I recognize it more in basketball than I do in football, Coach. But like, I like who was the former quarterback for Dallas?
Romo.
Tony Romo.
He's
like,
great.
I like
great.
Okay, I like him. So I don't know. I won't know until I hear him. I don't know that
Exactly.
he is a credible source. We'll have to see.
You know, Troy Aikman has always been real good to me. I like Troy Aikman. I think he says a lot of really credible things. You know, I think he's kind of on the point. Collinsworth always just every now and then says something, just send that chill up my spine. Like, did he play pro football? What the hell is he talking about? I mean, just every now and then he'll say something that's just totally off the wall. And my whole thing is that I think that when you are a radio station or TV station, that's what you're looking for. You know, you're looking for somebody who's credible. So when Tom Brady and the GOAT and all that, you know, like I think they actually tried to get Peyton Manning to be one, but he just don't have personality.
Yeah.
I mean, he just struggles with that. And he didn't do well with fans. I think fans just didn't like him as a broadcaster. And but because he's obviously cerebral and he knows coverages and defenses, and he could be really an asset if he's able to portray that to the people where people could buy in and everything else. But you know, it's kind of like when you're sitting there just talking over everybody's head and nobody knows what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
And
So some of my
kind
favorite
what the problem was.
NFL personalities are not on like broadcast TV. Like I love Louis Riddick. I like hearing him speak. And the old the guy from Pittsburgh. I can't think of his name. I follow him on
The
Twitter.
old coach?
Huh?
The old coach?
No. Player, black guy, has a little gap.
Well, I know you're talking about Dominique Foxworth.
No. But I like him too. No. Anyhow, I like those person. I like to hear that type of energy in the conversation. And maybe it's different when you have to do play-by-play and be in front of the TV versus, you know, being at home writing notes and being ready the day after. So we'll see.
Yeah, you kind of got to be on your P's and Q's, and it'll take Tom Brady some. He'll have to get some schooling to learn how to do it, because especially when you're the color commentator. Because, you know, the play-by-play guy just going to tell what's going on.
Yeah.
You have to kind of explain what's going on. And you have to, you know, kind of fluff it up and make people understand and speak to them in layman's terms to understand what's going on.
That's my fear for him. I don't know how good he's going to be. I don't know how good he's going to be able to relate what is in his mind and what he sees to the general public.
Because he's never been a layman.
And that's exactly. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. That's my fear. And the fact that they gave him a 10-year contract when he's never done this before, like, he had to have sat down and, like, tried out a game at least for him, like, before they gave him all this money. You got to think. But
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how he communicates and how he relates what he sees to the general public when he's calling a game. That's the key.
Ray Miller says he damn sure ain't gonna be better than Romo. Let me tell you this. It's and here's a prime example of how even some of the best people who played the game aren't very good in the booth announcing. And they talk about Magic Johnson in basketball. Have you ever heard that, Miss Carey? The comedian, he said, y'all ever heard Magic? He said, I wasn't watching, I was listening to it on the radio. And this is what I heard Magic say. Oh, there go Mike. Oh, see, Mike, you wrong for that. You wrong. and he like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
And he said, I had no clue what happened. And that's the way Magic would announce things all the time. And so he's like, I mean, just because you're good and you're a Hall of Famer and everything else doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be a good coach. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a good announcer. Because like you said, a lot of times all you're doing is just, you know, in Magic while he was doing that, because I was watching it on TV, he was moving and doing all the stuff that Michael did and all that. But yeah, that was good to see on TV. But if you're watching on radio, you have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, we remember, I'm sure you guys do, just a year ago, you know, Jason Witten did Monday Night Football on ESPN, and they stuck him in the box week 1. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, Jason Witten, such a great guy.
Yeah.
You know, great football player, knows the game, this, that, and the other. by week 4, he's on the sideline
Yeah.
on the Booger Mobile, whatever they call that thing. Because he was terrible.
He was
Yeah.
talking.
bad.
He was interviewing the man who made the boiled peanut.
Exactly. Because they're like, well, we paid him. We got to do something for got to be on the TV for something. But they took him off a play-by-play and announcing as quick as they possibly could because he stunk.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about may happen with Brady.
What I'm hoping with Brady is that, they will be able to use him where he can say, see what happened on the play right there is this team is notorious for running cover 4. And when you're in cover 4, this area of the field is going to be open because see the corner bailing and that kind of thing on the telestrator where he's able to kind of really show what's going on and why he as a quarterback would have done that same thing because he knew that area was going to be open because of the coverage they were playing. So I think that's what they're hoping for, and hopefully that's what they'll get. Hopefully that's what we will all get, and so I'm interested in that. The schedule came out the other day. NFL
Wait.
schedule.
Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark. That's what
Ryan Clark. There you go. I know. Yep, Ryan Clark too. I know who you're talking about. Schedule came out for the NFL. I think the biggest thing to me is how many games they're having outside the U.S. this year, and they're really trying to, and they've even said this too. I mean, it's not like this is breaking news. That they really want to put a franchise over in London, and Bradley Roby's playing over in London on I think it's October 2nd or something like that on a Sunday, October 2nd. And they're playing the Vikings over in London. And I told him I would go. It's going to cost me about $1,500 to go, probably more like $2,000 to go over there. And that's just to fly, not to mention my stay and everything else. So you're probably looking at like a $3,000 trip.
Yeah.
I don't know how in the hell you're going to put an NFL franchise over there. I guess they're not planning on people coming over there because they say that the London people will pack the arena. So they don't need U.S. people to fly over and that, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what do you guys think about that? We'll talk about some other games, but what do you guys think about this international deal where we got games being played in Mexico this year? I think there's games being played in other places in Europe, and they've got 4 games in London this year, which is the most they've ever done. But 4 games are going to be played in London this year. Miss Carey.
I mean, the NFL is not going to do anything that's going to cost them money, right?
Amen.
So,
Amen.
It's just like when you own a restaurant. First, you might get a pop-up. You put it in a certain neighborhood a couple of months in a row to see what that neighborhood feels about that type of cuisine. It does well. Okay, so let's put a brick and mortar, and you make money, but you do the research first. So, I think that's what the NFL is doing, and I mean, I think that they've seen success in the smaller arenas when they go overseas to London to play. But I do often see, like, I think it was the Jets I think we played last year. The Falcons and the Jets played last year there. And there was a ton of Jets fans. And so I don't really know if they were expats or if they were people that were flying over to watch the game. So I don't know that part of it. I can't imagine that they would have a surplus of citizens, the U.S. citizens, flying over for one game.
Well, I think that you probably have most people's families because, again, this might be a once-in-a-lifetime thing for you, when your husband or your spouse is playing in London. So maybe a bunch of families are flying over there, to watch their loved ones play. And obviously, these guys can afford it. We just talked about people making $20 million a year. You can afford a $2,000 plane ticket or a $10,000 weekend in London, when you're making, $20 million a year. But, but my whole thing is that I just don't know, how well that's going to go over because there are some people who want to go to every game. There are some Saints fans who want to go to every game. And they'll say, I've been a Saints fan for 20 years and I've always gone to every game. And now I got to fork out, $5,000 for this one game, just to fly over and eat and sleep and all that. And I mean, it's going to be a 9 a.m. game here in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, so like I said, because of the time difference, it'll be on at 9 o'clock in the morning here.
Mhm.
So I mean, just that kind of stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I'm thinking about not going just because that just doesn't fit well with me. I mean, I don't do well traveling, especially like that. And with me having to get back in a couple of days, I can't stay over there for a week. I'm gonna have to get back by Tuesday at the latest, and I just don't think it's worth it for me to be flying over there on Saturday morning, coming back on Tuesday, and having to spend $5,000. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Now, Travis got that kind of money like that. Miss Carey, Chris Paul, doing that sugar daddy thing he does. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
What I'm
know.
talking about.
That's why my ass is right in Decatur.
I don't think it'll work. I don't see it.
Really?
A few
In
reasons.
all places, though, or are you just saying
The
overall?
only only place I could see it working is Mexico. That's it. You can't keep going overseas, because when they do that right now, every team that flies over plays their game in London, right?
Yeah.
They have a bye week the next week.
Yeah.
So how
Well,
are you
that'd be
going to
real
have a
stuff.
schedule
Yeah.
when a conference, you have 8 different teams going over there?
Yeah.
Each one of those that's 8 different bye weeks.
Yeah.
That the scheduling for that isn't going to work.
A nightmare. Yeah. It's funny you say that. Matt Cowlett says he's been to Mexico City game. He said the Cowboys and Raiders, they had 90,000 tickets, and all of them were sold to Mexican residents.
Wow.
Okay. And I can see, like I said, I can see Mexico working, but here's my other thing. How many of those residents bought that ticket for that game because this is the first time they've ever seen football in their area, right?
Yeah.
If it's constantly there,
right,
every week, every 2 weeks, you're not going to get 90,000 people,
right?
Because they're not going to go, oh, this is a once in a lifetime thing.
Exactly.
I can go next week, right?
Yep.
And it's the same thing in London.
Yep.
And London, I don't think they really care about football. The NFL tried it in the 90s. It was called NFL Europe.
Yep.
And it was around for about 2 years, and then it went down the toilet, and they lost
belly up
a lot of money.
Yep.
It's not going to work. It will not. I don't care what team you move. Jacksonville is the one everyone thinks is going to happen because of the owner. I don't care what team you pick. It will not work, both financially and just logistic-wise. It can't work.
I hear you.
No way.
I'm mad at you. Okay, well, let's move on off of that then. Anybody, give me a game. They got a Christmas game that I think is very interesting.
So they've actually only announced like bits and pieces of the schedule so far. The
Yeah.
official schedule release comes out on Thursday.
Okay, well, I know they
announced like 10 games right now.
I know, but they announced 2 of them on Christmas, and I think
I've seen one.
Okay, what's the one you saw?
Buffalo, I think it was.
I think it is Buffalo playing somebody, but I thought that there were 2 that they had announced, and because obviously they're going to be played, together.
Rams and the Broncos.
There you go. That's the one. That's the main one right there.
Yeah. Apparently, they want to have 3 games on Christmas this year. That's what
Don't they typically have Thanksgiving and NBA has Christmas?
Yeah, typically, but now
Christmas is on a Sunday this year.
Oh.
So the NFL says, I'll take that too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, schedule release is on Thursday, so we'll be able to, know where everyone's going. I did read. There's a rumor going around. Side note: I know you guys don't care, but I do. The Bengals are supposed to get up to 6 primetime games this year.
Wow. I think they're coming to. They're playing Atlanta this year.
On the road at Cincinnati.
At Cincinnati.
Not Atlanta. Yeah.
Eagles Cowboys is going to be another Christmas game, and then Packers versus Buccaneers.
Okay, I hadn't seen that. Okay.
I'm reading it off the internet right now.
Okay. No, those make sense for Christmas games. I just hadn't read. The only one I had read was the Broncos and the Rams. But
So
those
3
other
games
3
on Christmas
games.
Day?
supposed to be
Wow.
one on
3
CBS,
games.
one on Fox, and one on NBC. Yeah,
It says
Wow.
the early game is Eagles and Cowboys,
that makes sense.
and then midday is going to be the
Packers.
the Rams and Broncos,
Rams and Broncos.
and
Yeah.
the late game Packers versus Buccaneers.
Okay.
So there you go.
I
So,
find it interesting that they would have Dallas as Thanksgiving and Christmas because Dallas is going to get a Thanksgiving game. I know that hasn't been announced yet, but they're going to.
they always do. I mean, it's the same
Oh.
teams every year.
I think it's interesting that they have a Thanksgiving and a Christmas game.
Dallas and Detroit play every Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know who made that rule, but it's always Dallas and Detroit. I guarantee you that. I'm not necessarily playing each other.
Right.
I mean, those two teams are involved in the
Yes.
whole Thanksgiving thing. And then they've thrown in a third one, and I don't know who that is or what it is or whatever. So anyway, all right then, moving right along. Let's go to the NBA and talk about some things real quick before we get out of here. Who is the real MVP, Miss Carey? Is it Nikola Jokic? Is he the real MVP, or is it Joel Embiid?
I think it should have gone to Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid has proven himself this year. His numbers are up. He's changed his game under Doc Rivers, and is a dominant player. And he has other weapons. I think Jokic doesn't. I mean, he is the primary scorer. All balls go through him. Period. End of story. And yeah, last year he got it. He was uncontested from my perspective. Although did Giannis get it last year? No. he
No,
didn't.
it was him. It was Jokic.
Yeah.
He did 2 times in a row.
Yeah. I think Embiid earned it.
Travis.
I would have went with Embiid too. I agree with Miss Carey. I would have went Embiid. I was surprised it was Jokic. I actually thought if it wasn't Embiid, it was going to be Giannis. I didn't think they were going to give it to Jokic again.
Yeah, I mean, I can, unfortunately, as it is with just about every sport now, you got all these damn people on computers running all these analysis and this and that and other and all that. This Moneyball shit, and now everything's about that. And so they've got all these graphs to show this and that. I mean, the graph doesn't show that Joel Embiid had to put up with, a dumbass in Ben Simmons, and then I putting up with a dumbass in James Harden. I mean, just all that drama. And I mean, the man sitting up here now looking like the damn Phantom of the Opera out there trying to play basketball. I mean, and I know they say, well, this was regular season and he didn't have the mask in the regular season and all that. But I'm just saying, if you look at the circumstances that he was having to play under and the stuff that he was having to endure just even mentally, I mean, dude, I'm just shocked that that he didn't get it. I mean, not to mention that he was, like you said, putting up the numbers, and I mean, I think he's the best big man in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really do. I don't know of anybody else who's better. It's not Draymond Green. I know Draymond Green thinks he's the best man in basketball. I know he thinks he should have won Defensive Player of the Year and all that. And, Draymond Green, and he's a great player. I don't think he's the best big man in basketball. I think Embiid, like I said, I mean, if you look at his total package, and I know Jokic, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due, because the boy has game. But like I said, I think that when you look at the two, and I'm kind of the guy who's like, dude, the dude just won it last year. He ain't got to win it every year. I'm kind of giving to somebody else kind of a person. But I did. I was shocked. I thought that it was going to be Embiid. And like I said, I'm hearing that the little henpeckers on the social media and computers and all that, build a big enough case where it went to Jokic. And don't get me wrong. I mean, Jokic is a bad boy. I mean, he puts up numbers like you wouldn't believe, and I see him hitting some crazy ass shots from all over the court. But like I said, that's just if it was me, And it's so funny because every time I see a sportscaster on TV, he says he voted for Embiid. I mean, some of them better be lying because it looks like everybody voted for Embiid.
Right. I mean, do you even have him 2, Coach? Or do you have him like Travis? I have him 3, like Travis, behind Giannis.
I probably would have him 3 too. And you know, guys, I'm a Giannis fan. When I see Giannis doing some things and the way his game has developed, and I see him shooting a fade over the backboard while he's falling out of bounds, I'm like, dude, if he can do that, he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, for him just to go in there and just dunk on you, that's we know that's gonna happen. But for him to have a double team on him and be fading out of bounds and shoot the ball over the corner of the backboard into the goal. When I saw him do that, I'm like, dude, that's insane right there. Especially for a man as big and tall as he is, to have that kind of touch, that is scary. I mean, that is really scary. So anyway, I'm like you, Miss Carey. He probably would have been my 3rd. I probably would have gone with Giannis 2nd and him 3rd. So, but anyway, moving right along. Miss Carey.
No.
Miss Carey.
The answer is no.
Look like the Suns are setting a little early. I mean, Monty Williams got that head coach of the year award. I think they shut it down after that. They must have had a party the night he got that little egg that they gave him. And they must have went to the Phoenix version of Magic City and had them some Chris Paul wings. You know, I don't do the Louis Williams wings up there in Phoenix. Had the Chris Paul wings. And I think that put that thing on them, them Chris Paul wings. You know what I'm saying? Put that thing on them. You know what I'm talking about, Miss Carey? Might have some of that CBD oil they rubbed the wings down there. Because they looked like they were sleepwalking out there the other night.
You know who else thought that? The Pelicans.
Chris Paul fouled out. And don't get me wrong, that last foul,
weak.
That is the worst call ever.
For that specific game, the refs were terrible.
Dude,
almost every both.
I mean, as soon as the play started,
and the Suns, like everything was a foul, and you're just like, "Can you guys just let him play, please?"
Listen, as soon as he saw that there was going to be a shot go up, he did this and backdoor and didn't touch anybody.
Yeah,
never touched anybody. And as soon as they blew that whistle and called foul, he just started walking. He said, "You know what? I ain't gonna argue. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave."
And the one just before that should have been a no call.
Yeah, both of his last 2 fouls
bumped into the back of him.
Yeah, both of his last 2 fouls were terrible. So
no,
anyway,
the Sun hasn't.
I'm concerned about him. And let me tell you why I'm concerned. Ain't got nothing to do with your boyfriend, so you can relax. I know you all huffed up, ready to go to defend your Chrissy Poo. I'm not talking about him. What Devin Booker is terrible. I mean, that joker, he is playing horribly. I mean, you can't put nothing. You can't even blame Chris Paul because Chris Paul is what's been keeping them in it. At least you know where they can still make it a game. Devin Booker is all over the place. I don't know what happened to his shot. I mean, God dang, that joke probably shooting 20-some%. He is terrible right now.
Huh.
And DeAndre Ayton, he's another one needs to turn his game up. I mean, they're not what they've been the whole year.
Yeah, and part of it is if you take, that's what their game plan was, right? That's what Jason Kidd's game plan was: take Chris out of the game. And when you take when you take the floor general out of the game, the rest of the team kind of falls apart. That's what they were hoping, right? And I think that's what we're seeing happen. But they're not done. I think they'll beat Dallas, and I think they beat them in 6. I think they win this one and the one at home, one in Dallas.
I hope so. I don't like that. I don't like their star. What's his name?
Who? Dallas?
Yeah, the white dude.
Luka.
Yeah, I don't like Luka. I don't like Luka.
Badass.
Yeah, he is. He good, but I don't like. He got a little too much attitude for me. See, Nikola Jokic, he doesn't do all that. This show got too much of that sassy stuff with me. I don't like that in this sport.
He's been playing professional since he was 15 years old.
I believe. I believe he acts like it.
Yeah.
So, Coach, Devin Booker in the 4 games has 30 points, 35 points,
That's what I thought.
23 points, and 18 points.
Exactly. My point. 18 points. And you people talking about you being a damn MVP and you got 18 points in a game. I mean, you supposed to bring 18 points to the court with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
You're
supposed
right.
to start with 18. You should have 18 in the first quarter.
You're right. I got him for 30 plus tonight.
Dude, I'm just telling you. I mean, you can't be the guy scoring 18 points. That's you making my point for me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what a role player is supposed to do is make 18. You supposed to be getting shit. Some of these guys damn 42. Somebody got 45 the other night. I mean, I think Jokic, as a matter of fact, not Jokic, the other one, that guy in Dallas.
Luka.
Luka got like 42 the other night or 45 or something. Dude, you can't be the guy scoring those damn 18 points.
Luka is averaging 28.4 points this series.
Exactly.
26.8.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But I guarantee you, some of them damn games, his ass was busting 40 on them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't view Booker's performance like you do, but
Yeah, I don't either.
I think that part of it is that they've taken Chris out of it. And that has caused some angst in that team. And they'll have to figure it out because that's who hasn't played. The role players campaign has not come in like he should come in when Chris Paul sits the bench.
Yeah.
But when you are the one of the two, just like Paul and Booker, if they take the one out or the two out, which is Chris, now you got to step in and you got to play the perfect game and know when to be the shooter and know when to be the facilitator. And that's what Giannis struggled with that last game or so. Not this last game, but the one before. So they showed it clearly. Sometimes he would have 3 people on him. He trying to take 3 people to the hole. Mm-hmm. Dude, if there's 3 people on you like that, there's 3 guys open. And they showed them clearly they were open, just sitting there behind the 3-point line waiting for him to pass. And you trying to take 3 dudes to the hole. So it's the same thing with Booker. You got to know when to be the guy to shoot the ball and score points. And then you got to know when to be the guy to just facilitate and give the ball off to these other guys who are posted up or whatever and let them shoot and score points. But Booker ain't making it happen.
I think the difference between game 1s and game 2 have actually been – I don't even think it's a Phoenix thing. I think it's Dallas. Okay. Dallas's bench players showed up in games 3 and 4. Finney-Smith, I've never heard of that dude. That guy had like 20-something points the other game.
There you go.
He had like 6 threes.
He had less than 10.
Yeah.
So, like, Dallas's playmakers, bench guys, secondary guys, came to play games 3 and 4, and Phoenix's really didn't. And I think that's actually the difference in those games. And a lot of that has to do with, of course, when you play at home, the bench players typically play better, which is why I still think Phoenix can win that series because they still have home court advantage. But the second one of those 2 teams loses home court advantage, I think it's a wrap.
Okay.
I think it's game over. I think it's series over.
Well, I'm watching. I was just about to ask. My next topic is the Heat cooling off in Philly?
No.
And I'm watching right now the Heat going up against Philadelphia, and the score right now is 66-49.
Yeah.
So the Heat's up by 17. They were up by 20 a second ago, but now they're up by 17.
I think that's another series just like the Dallas and the Phoenix series. I think that goes 7. I think the home team wins all the games, and Miami ends up winning in game 7. I just think both teams play really good at home. Neither team are the greatest on the road. They're fine on the road, but the other team is really good at home. I just think that's the same thing with the Suns and the Mavs. The home team has the advantage having the crowd, and again, the secondary players typically play better at home. I think that's exactly what's happening in this series too.
I'm telling you right now, my favorite person to watch right now is Jimmy Butler. He's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
If you could ever will a game, it would be Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler's that guy who could actually, his will could make his team win the game.
Yeah.
He is, dude, that joker is fun to watch. I saw him backing Embiid down the other day. He ain't afraid of nobody. He's a true competitor, and it's fun to watch him. Real quick, we talk about two more things in 2 minutes. I'm sorry, we got one more thing. Should we be bowing to Boston? Everybody seems to think that all of a sudden Boston has the formula to win it all this year. Miss Carey, what do you think?
I don't think they win at all, but they certainly have been impressive since Christmas or since All-Star break.
Can they win the East?
No, I don't think they beat the Heat.
Okay. Travis, what do you think? Should we be bowing to Boston?
I'm not there quite yet. I think they beat the Bucks. After that comeback yesterday, I think they're going to beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
I think the Heat are going to win. That Boston Heat matchup is going to be great. I think that'll be a classic. If you had to tell me who do I think is going to win right now, I'll still go with the Heat because they have just been there all year. The one thing that I hate about the Heat right now is no Kyle Lowry. That could kill him. If he doesn't get healthy, Boston probably wins that series though.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna shock everybody. I don't think Boston beats Milwaukee.
No, I don't either.
I do.
I think Milwaukee beats Boston, and then Milwaukee plays the Heat. And then I think that
I was with you a week ago. But after what Boston just did, coming back, I think Giannis is going to gas out. And now Boston has home court advantage. They have 2 out of the next 3 games.
Just what you just said. I think Giannis is about to just show his ass. I'm telling you that right now. He is going to be unstoppable for the next 2 games. I mean, they have.
I love Giannis. Giannis is my favorite player in the NBA right now, and it has been for the last year. And I was on this podcast and have said that multiple times. I love watching Giannis. I love Giannis. I like everything he brings to the table. But Boston is just loaded right now.
Yeah, I'm not a big man. I'm not a big man fan. I would never have a big guy being my favorite player. Like Shaq was never my favorite player. Jordan was my favorite player. And then now, I like watching John Moran. I like watching Jimmy Butler. I like watching some of these guys. I like watching Curry. I like watching those guys manipulate and work that magic. And, I don't want to see just a big man just throw the ball in there and and now he threw it into the black hole and he's going to shoot it or get fouled. And then when he gets fouled, his ass can't shoot free throws. I mean, I don't want to see that. So, like I said, I like the smaller guys. So I won't say that Giannis is my favorite player, but he's obviously a big talent. I mean, ain't no doubt about that. He's a spectacular talent, and so I can see that. I can see why you like him and whatnot. I don't think they're gonna. Like I said, I don't think Boston's gonna beat Milwaukee. I think they better bring their damn lunch pail because I think Giannis is about to go off.
So, Coach, you got the Bucks winning, and then you got on the other side the Heat winning. And who do you have coming out of that?
The Heat and the Bucks.
Do you have the Heat beating 76ers?
I'm gonna go with the Heat. Yeah, I'm going with the Heat. Yeah, I'm going with the Heat over the. I like I said, I'm stuck on Jimmy Butler.
He's a monster.
He's a monster. He's just a competitor, and he's like whoever their best player is, I want him. Whoever their best player is, I'm taking him to the hole. He just shot a 3 in what's the name face, in Embiid's face. That's what I'm talking about. I love Jimmy Butler. He's just a beast. So, in any event, folks, it says 9:05, so we got to get out of here. Yep. I want to thank everybody for being on here tonight. Rick Rondo, Matt Cowlute, Ray Miller, Tom Holcroft. We appreciate y'all for all being on here. As always, the lovely Miss Carey. Miss Hood, there y'all, Miss Hood. Hey, baby. Hi, Miss Hood. Miss Carey, you need to come out here. We having a birthday party over my house on the 20th of May. So you have to come out here so we can meet you in person.
Whose birthday is it?
Mine.
Oh,
My birthday May 22nd, but we're gonna
Okay.
celebrate on the 20th.
okay.
So we just gonna
That's
have
a
some
Friday.
food and yeah. So anyway, my grandbaby is calling me right now. So let me see if I can let y'all see my grandbaby. Where my grandbaby at, BJ? Look at my grandbaby. Hi, Amy. Y'all see
Put 'em
my
up.
grandbaby?
Yeah.
That's my grandbaby. Hi, baby. All right, man. That's time for me to go. I get out of here. We'll see y'all next week. Good night, Miss Francis.
Straight from the
Bye.
hip.
All right, Travis. We appreciate you.
Yep. See ya.
See you, man.